All right, I want to show you guys another G-Shock that, out of all the G-Shocks that I've tried, I'm a big fan of the 5600 series square models, but my next favorite one has got to be this G9000-1 V as in Victor. So this one, if the price fluctuates, but right now on Amazon Prime, I just looked it up as today, the date on the watch there, you can see, was $66.58. And then I'll watch this, and sometimes it'll dip down close to like in the mid 50s. And I'll usually buy a couple of them, throw them off to the side, and I give them away as gifts. I've given some to some friends, and they love them. They're super strong. They have a pretty long band length, and it's not overly massive in size. Like if you compare it to like a Seiko Monster, you know, it's only slightly larger. In the G-Shock, the way that contours on it, I mean, in the weight of it being so light, it fits really good. And as a matter of fact, I'll even show you. Let's just take some crude measurements here. You're looking at 45.5, okay? And then the lug-to-lug is super hard to do on this because I'll just go to these screw holes here. But even that's kind of misleading. It says 51, but I mean, it's kind of misleading because the way it contours immediately, plus it has these standoffs on the back, and that's part of the Mudman series. It works great when you start to sweat or get grimy and stuff. It just kind of keeps off your wrist a little bit. So that works really good. And then this one, again, is one of those ones that's not super thick either. It's only 13.5 millimeter thick, 13.6 right in there. So you get the point. The only problem I've seen so far with one of the ones I gifted out, the clasp came off and he lost the clasp. So I'm going to order him up a new strap, and I think the strap is only like $30. You pop out the screws, pop the new strap in, boom, he's back in action. This button here lights up the display. You're not going to be able to see it. I've shut the lights off. And all the buttons on the Mudman are like really hard to push. So that jumps it into the 24-hour clock, and then you can jump it back. And then there's the adjust and mode. They did make a solar version of this too, and I meant to get one. They had one at a local store near me, and they were kind of clearancing them out. And I think it was only like $80, and they seem like they are way high on price now on the solar model. And it also had the 6-band radio frequency for adjusting the time. That was a really cool model. And then they make different colorations of this, but this is the best value one. I think this one and the G-Shock 5600 square model ones are probably like the most bang for your buck in the G-Shock line. There's a bunch of other ones too that I just never really connected with. But this one, the way it contours here, I'll throw it on wrist real quick. I have a 7 1/4 wrist, so pop this. And then I like the double prong clasp. This one, actually, my 16-year-old son took it from me for a while and was wearing it, so it's getting a little banged up and grimy. I mean, it just like disappears on wrist. I mean, it just perfectly goes around the wrist. I think it looks good. All the watches I've actually had a couple of compliments on this watch out of all the watches, which is blew me away that this would get a compliment. This and like my Orange Monster, I've had some talk on that one, but it's pretty bizarre, some of the watches that people notice and compliment on. So there's a quick look at the G9000-1 V as in Victor Mudman. Go on Amazon, check these out. I think you'll be happy with it. If you like the Seiko Monster, this one will fit really good on your wrist, and it's a little bit different. You don't have the square. You got the nice round look to it. This one will pop out nice. And then if you look, I thought somewhere on this, doesn't it do some of these do the seconds thing. Okay, so it's in that window there. It has like if you watch some of these G-Shocks, you got to look at them a little bit closer, but it'll have the seconds repeater, and it'll fill in, which is always kind of a cool feature. If you sit and stare at your watches. Not that I do it with the digital too much, but there you go. There's a quick look.